Self together. Okay. Peace, family. Peace, family. It's your brother Isaiah. Why you can't see me? Where my camera at? What's going on over here? Yeah. Let me put some light on my face real quick. There we go. They don't want y'all to see the brother. Peace and love. Peace and love. It's your brother Isaiah. Again with another one, man. For all the conscious brothers, all the conscious sisters in the conscious community, keeping the struggle because we know that it's through the struggle that we grow. Also, I like to say, hey, it's a slow process for progress, and that the race is not to those who are swift, it's to those that remain dutiful. So make sure you stay in this for the long haul. Y'all already know that, Brother Isaiah, I don't offer any legal advice. I'm not some sort of legal counsel or any of fictitious names or anything. I'm your brother. And what I do is I share with you education and information that'll change your life. All right. This is for educational and informational purposes only. I'm not trying to make you a lawyer or anything like that. A natural man shouldn't even be speaking in legalese because we're not lawyers. Lawyers are crooks. Okay, the Bible tell you, woe to the lawyers. They're crooks. They're deceivers. They're liars. Okay, we deal in truth and actual facts. So I'm your brother. Just bring it to your education and information about my walks and travels throughout my journey called life. And I like to extend these honors to you because when you're honoring man and you honor woman, you definitely honor yourself. Let me give adoration to the Most High, who is the head, the temple of my life, and extend that same love and courtesy and acknowledgement to all of his messengers and all of his prophets. I'd like to say peace to you, beloved brother, beloved sister, and grand rising to all of the chosen people of this day and time who's been chosen, awakened, and aware of the deceptive acts, the deceptive practices, and the misrepresentation of God's people, identifying men and women as persons in order to put them in a personagehood to where their true essence of who they are is not fully recognized, and you get treated like a thing rather than a living being. See, that's the whole purpose in them creating another record after the live birth. See, if I was already born and a record was created, why did you need another record? Because you was on something. You was trying to create a characteristic of my birth and hoping that that characteristic that you put in the form would induce me to fraud to accepting the character as my true self. That's not going to happen in this day and time because we woke, and God said that we would know these truths, and these truths would set us free. And it's 144,000 who have been chosen to deliver our people from this ignorant state of misrepresentation. Okay, because we understand what's going on. Now I'm gonna get somewhere, right? I'm gonna show you something. We're gonna share something. Because in this day and time, man, I don't want you to be confused. I want my people liberated from all ignorance and buffoonery, because we don't need to be ignorant. There's no reason for you to be ignorant in this day and time. So we're going to get it. All right. Let me look in my, and if you want to comment in the chat, you can get into the chat, leave any, comments or anything you want to say. All right, let me see. Peace to the guys. Snow Free Pool, nice touch. Yes, sir. Never missed the comment. All right, yo. So let me get into this. Where I'm going into is the Assumed Name Act. I'm going to go into it again for you, just in case you didn't understand what it is or how it works. I want to make sure you understand what the Assumed Name Act is really trying to tell you, right? Now, we have what's called a certificate of misrepresentation. I wonder what that is. It might be the birth certificate misrepresenting a man as a person. We're going to start, it starts off with certificate of misrepresentation. Do you have a certificate in your possession that identifies you? Could it be misrepresenting who you truly are? Could this be what this is trying to tell you? that the certificate of identity, taxpayer identity, citizenship is misrepresenting the real man because it's a legal or it's an artificial record, not a true record? The true record was the live birth, not the one prior to it or the one that came after it. Okay? That's misrepresenting the true one that was before it. Let's keep reading. Matter of fact, before we even go there, let's look this up. What is a certificate of misrepresentation? Okay, let me make sure. Sure it is. Okay. So, follow your brother. Okay? Y'all make sure y'all share, like, share with as many people as you possibly know. Make sure that they get this information because it's very important that you make sure that your people get this information, okay? I want us all doing the right things in this day and time. A misrepresentation refers to a false or a misleading statement or a material omission, right? That misleads others, often with the intent to deceive. It is a fundamental element of common law fraud and can occur through various forms. Through various forms. We're going to get to that. I'm going to show you something today. Okay, alternative false statements, right? Directly stating something that is false. They're identifying you as a legal person. That's false as hell. You're not no legal person. That birth certificate is not properly identifying you. It's saying the name of a child, but the name doesn't identify a child. Okay? It identifies a legal person. Okay? We don't want to be misidentified or misrepresented or induced to any false material records that don't properly identify us. Okay? Get that straight. Material omission, failing to disclose important information that could influence the decision. That's why when you enter into a contract, you end up in default. Why? Because they didn't disclose that wasn't your real name. That's a legal person. And you are the undisclosed principal. You are the living man utilizing that identity as your legal identity. That's not your true identity, that's your legal identity. And because it doesn't properly identify you as a man or a woman, and you use it, that form of identification, see that word again, that form, because they put it on a form, and when you use that form to identify yourself without truly disclosing true identification of who you are, that's fraud. Legal consequences of misrepresentation can include contract rescission. All right, compensatory damages, meaning you don't get paid. And in the case of fraud, punitive damages. To prove misrepresentation, one must demonstrate that a false statement led to reliance and caused harm. So what was the false statement? Is that the legal name that was the purchaser under the agreement was the man using it. That you, in the name you're using, is the exact same person, when actually one is representing, is used as representation for another. All right, so let's get back. Let me get back what I was saying. Right. Now, so we got a certificate of misrepresentation. Now I want to show you something else real quick. All right. Now, I say your birth certificate is misrepresenting your true identity, okay? Because it's not identifying a man properly. Because according to law, you have proper nouns and then you have improper things. So even though that's an identification document or a document representing a person, is it representing the person properly? That's what you want to know, right? So we're going to put this up, right? What is a proper noun? So you got to take the course. You got to take everybody back to school, because these people don't know law. They don't know how to read English no more. A proper noun is a specific name for a particular person. Now, why would it say a specific name? I ain't looked up name, did I? Did I look up name? No. I said I looked up what? Proper noun. But a proper noun deals with a name. Are you following, Brother Isaiah? How long are we going to have to keep going through this, y'all, before we rise above this bull crap They got us going through, right? A proper noun is a specific name for a particular person. Particular person or a specific name for a particular person? What is a particular person? We're going to get to that too. Place, thing, or idea. So it could be an idea. Always capitalize to distinguish it from common nouns. What the? Whoa. What? What? Let's read this again. Did it say capitalize? So a proper noun is in capital letters? Did you know that? Did you? Hold up. They never taught me that. I'm gonna be the first to say that I didn't know that. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I thought all caps was improper. Let's read it again. A proper noun is a specific name for a particular person. So it's a particular name, right? Place, thing, or idea. Always capitalized. Got it. Got it. It's always capitalized, right? But it's talking about the first letter, right? To distinguish it from common nouns. A proper noun identifies a unique entity. See that? Unique entity, unlike a common noun. So you got two different types of nouns. Wait a minute. Did you know there was a proper noun? Then they have common nouns? Oh, wow. Let's go a little deeper. Which refers to a general class of a thing. A general class? What is that? What is a general class? These are things we definitely have to look up. Proper noun can be a single word. Oh, wow. So my legal name could be a proper noun because it's a single word. It's first, middle, last as one single word. They don't recognize the separation in the legal name. They registered it as one word. Isaiah Jakeem made one word, right? Yeah, there's no separations in my legal name. I don't see no commas, no indications of a separation in that name. So when you're reading it, you might think first, middle, and last, but by law, there's no separations. That's one name, but that's John Henry Doe. That's the name. The name is not John Henry or Doe. It's John Henry Doe. Do you get it? Okay, so your legal name is one name. Okay, understand that. Okay, so a proper noun can be a single word, such as Alex or Monday, or multiple word phrases. See? United States of America. See that? Central Park. They are used to provide clarity and specific, I can't even pronounce it, but I know what I'm trying to say. In communications, ensuring that the reader or the listener knows exactly which person, place, or thing is being referred to, right? Capitalization roles are essential. Proper nouns are always written in capital letters, right? Regardless of their position in a sentence. While common nouns are capitalized only at the beginning of a sentence. Do y'all see that? Most proper nouns do not require articles like a or the, though some exceptions exist, such as the Netherlands or the World Health Organization, right? See, and the reason why is because there is not in all caps. You see that? The World Health Organization. Well, that is a phrase, or that is one word. As you can see, there is no indication separating it. No commas, no semicolons. So it's one word. Even though it's World Health Organization, it's considered to be one word. Okay? Now, examples of a proper noun include, see how you got Sarah? That's the surname. Okay? Comma, and then Albert Einstein, right? So this is the way that you're supposed to identify yourself. When you a man or you a woman, and you're using, right, examples of a proper noun to identify yourself. When you identify yourself, remember, God said, honor thy mother and thy father. So when you honor yourself, your mother, your father, that means you use two separate parts of your name, meaning you separate your family name from the name your mama gave you in order to properly show who you are. If you use the legal designation of your name, that's not you. That's the legal person. Okay, that's the business location. That's the way you do business through that name. So when you go to court and they suing you, if they using the first, middle, last version that they call your name, that's not your name. Okay. Remember, I'm showing you what a proper name is. It's a surname and a given name, and you better remember that. Okay, because I ain't gonna come on here every day trying to teach this to you. Look at this truth, accept it, and enforce it. Accept it and enforce it. Don't let nobody lie to you, tell you that it's not true. Understand that the truth shall be enforced. You gotta be a representative of the truth. We gotta find truth, embody truth, and exercise that power that the truth gives us against all these evil, deceptive people that are doing this wickedness, perpetrating like they the government in our land. You can't be the government here, the real government, because you're not the people of this land. So you're acting. We understand what you're doing, and you're putting on a hell of an act for us. But your act is over with. Okay? Now you got pronouns can also appear in plural forms, referring to a group such as the Kennedys, right? So things like that. So actually you need to go back to school, right, to understand. So a proper noun is always in all caps. So your legal name is considered to be a proper noun, right? But it's identifying a common noun. The common noun is the man or woman, right? We got a common name that we use, but when we are the proper person for that account, they use our name properly in all caps. So an all cap name is considered as a proper noun, right? And a common noun is when the first letter of the noun is capitalized and not all the letters. Okay, so you got proper nouns and then you got common nouns. Very important for you to remember that. Okay, keep that in mind. Now let's go back. Now, remember what we was just reading, right? Let me see, pull it up. The certificate of misrepresentation, right? All right, so now, remember, now I want you to understand why this certificate is a misrepresentation. Because you got to know this, man. We got, yeah, that's brother. That's brother right there, yo. All right, so follow the brother. Follow your brother. Okay. Now, if you don't know, you should know that you're the Roman rule. I've been teaching it for quite some time, telling you that the Romans conquered it. Okay. So get this understood. Check this out. Watch this. Now watch this. Hold up. Why does it keep putting that right there? Now the Romans, they did a lot of stuff, man. They did a lot of stuff, y'all. And hold up. So what we're looking up is What is a legal spell curse system? When a legal spell, legal, somebody can legally put a spell on you. Did you know that? Oh, you didn't know that. Oh, well, we're going to find out today. So it's called a legal spell curse, right? System. Typically refers to the framework involving magical spells and curses that impose magical burdens or effects on individuals. Oh, wow. Are you serious? Wow. Curses are magical burdens that last for a specific or a specified time, or only until they are ended, often created by spells like bestowed curse. So you can be under a curse as a legal person until you end that shit. Until you say, you know what? I'm tired of y'all playing with me like I'm some damn person. And you end the spell because you're not a person. All right, now check this out. Magic, contagionous, or adverse effects on magical origins that are contagious by definition. In legal contexts, such as in warding world of J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter spells and curse can have significant legal implications, including their use in crimes and their effects on individuals, right? So these spells was what they were using. Now, I got legal. Now we're going to put Roman. Roman. Let's see what it says about the Roman definition of spell curse, okay? In ancient Rome, curses were often inscribed on things led tablets called defictionals, whatever, however you pronounce that, defictionist, whatever. Defix. Or whatever. I can't pronounce it, but y'all see what I'm talking about. These tablets were used to target rivals, lovers, or enemies, and were typically placed in grave wells or sacred sites to send a message to the underworld. The inscriptions often included personal grievances and were believed to be effective as long as the tablets remained concealed. The practice of using cursed tablets reflect a darker aspect of Roman spirituality and the belief in power of a world in symbolic and magical rituals. So what they were doing were they were using forms in order to let me see, Roman spell curse system. I'm trying to get it to where it tell you what they was doing. So they were actually using like forms, documents, in order to put curses on people. So what they would do is they would create some kind of tablet, some kind of thing, and then they would basically use that thing to put a curse on another person by putting it in their vicinity, putting it somewhere in their house, or placing it somewhere in their possession. And what they expected from the form of the thing was an outcome to put the person under a spell. So that was the whole purpose in forming birth certificates, creating legal names, and doing all of that, was to create a spell curse system which will put all the people under a spell by using a legal name to identify men and women through legal characters in which they would not understand the legal ramifications of the name, which will put them under a spell to be indebted as a person. So this was a system that they put in place, and that's the reason why they wanted you to have a birth certificate. They want to put these documents in your face because they're trying to induce you to the name. They're trying to get you to accept being the person. Okay, it's a spell curse system. Okay, check it out. Now let's go back. So that's why when you go to the Assumed Name Act, the first thing it says is certificate of misrepresentation, because no man is a person, no woman is a person. So the certificate of birth is automatically misrepresenting the citizen because you're not the citizen. Okay. No person or person shall conduct or transact any business in the state under an assumed name or under any designation, name or style, corporate or otherwise. See, corporate, ain't your birth, ain't your legal name your corporate name? I just showed it to you, right? Or otherwise, right? Other than the real name or names of the individuals or individuals conducting or transacting such business. So if you operating under a taxpayer, if you only identify as the legal taxpayer, then that means that the man who's using that that name is not being recognized. Meaning, you're using the remember I told you got two names. You got a common name, a common noun, and then you got a proper noun. So you're using the proper noun to identify yourself without commonly showing who the person is. Unless such person or person shall file in the office of the clerk of the county in which the person or the person is conducting or transacting or intended to transact such business, a certificate setting forth the name under which the business is. So whether it's a DBA, whether it's a trust or whatever, you gotta register that name so that they can know that what the business is and who the owners are. If you only use the name as if it's you, then you're operating as a sole established entity without being an officer, because a taxpayer is a business and it needs to be registered in order for the true owners to be recognized. If you don't register your government name, you're not recognized only as that person, right? Now, or it to be used, conducted, or transacted in the true or real full names of the person or persons owning, conducting, or transacting the same. So when you use your government name and you say, I'm doing business as the People's Remedy, now the People's Remedy got to have an owner. So the same name, my full legal name will show up as the owner, which will show that the legal name is the business and that the full name is my name and I'm the owner. So why is that important? Because once you register your government name as a business, even if it's a DBA, and you are still responsible. Once you register that name and it got a business address attached to it, which I suggest you should do it, then by law, they have to deal with the correct person. So what I'm saying is, if my business, if my legal name that I get to use in commerce is my personal name, and I've been using my personal name to get a house, get a car, get a job, because I didn't know these things that people been talking about. Now I find out that, wait a minute, my legal government name was actually a business that I do business with every day to get cars, houses, jobs under the name, but I'm thinking it's my personal name. I don't know that it's an official business name. Now you want to give your business name a new name rather than your personal name. Why would you want to do that? Because it creates personal liability. If you don't separate the name of your business from your personal name, it's assumed and presumed you are the full business because y'all using the same name. So what you want to do is give the business a different name. So if the business name that the government uses is my personal name, Isaiah Bay, it's the name of my individual business, I don't want my individual business to be Isaiah Bay because that's also my personal name. So what I want to do is give it another name. So I do a DBA. Now Isaiah Bay is the People's Remedy. Why is that important? Because the legal name is no longer Isaiah Bay no more. The legal name is now the People's Remedy. Why is that important? Because if they write a ticket on Isaiah Bay as if it's me, that's fictitious. That's not accurate. Why? Because Isaiah Bay is now the People's Remedy. That name, Isaiah Bay, and the People Remedy are the same person. Isaiah Bay and the People Remedy are the exact same person. So what does that make me? That makes me the common person, the noun, the one I showed you, the surname and the given name. The legal name, the first, middle, last, that one name that I told you that has no separations, and it's one name, that is your business name. You need to give it another name so they can't assume that you are the business. Right now, it's using your name, so you are the business. Once you give it a new name, now it's evident that the name is a different name from yours. So now when you deal with the court, you deal with them through the People's Remedy. You write them the People's Remedy. They might be trying to use your personal name to identify the business, but you correct them. You say, no, the name of this business is the People's Remedy. And I, Isaiah Bay, I'm the restaurant owner. So they can't confuse it because they're trying to use your personal name, your legal government name, to identify your business when your business is no longer that name no more. So when you register your name, you got to make sure that they confuse it. If they still sending you notices in your legal name as if it's you, you go to the court. You take all the documents to them, tell them, hey, this is a improper service. Okay, this name is registered. This is the name, this is the business name that I'm doing business under. And here's my address where you can notify me. Any other notices to this address is improper. That is not the name of the business, and that is not where the business is located. Okay, they can't misconstrue this. See, that's the thing. They never wanted you to know that a DBA is your protection. It is your protection. It shows that who the business is and where the business is located to receive notices. Okay. All right. So it tells you about filing it in the newspaper and all of that. If any person changes his name or his residence, it talks about that. All right. Let's get down. Home-based business. It talks about that. Now it says the county clerk has a duty to notify the business when the county clerk has been served with process on behalf of the business. So if my name is registered in Madison County of Illinois as the People's Remedy, the county clerk knows that the People's Remedy that's the business name. So if he send me a ticket under Isaiah Bay to my personal residence, he's in breach of contract. He's breaching his fiduciary duty to basically serve correct process to the correct person. Once the name is registered as a business, it has to go to where the name is registered. You can't try to use that as my personal name when I have registered it now as a business. You got to recognize the business designation to the name. Now, my name becomes my surname and given name. The legal name is no longer tied to me as that person anymore. It's only tied to me for business purposes, but understand what I'm telling you. Now watch this. A person conducting business under any assumed name who have prior to August 16, 1963 changed their name or a whole name in addition to the business organization conducting business under an assumed name. See, so what they're saying, if you change your name, and then it's gonna affect your business because your business is under your legal name. So if you change your legal name, you gotta update all your records with your business and everything, because everything you do is tied to your person. Your person is the one that wears the hats, not you. Your person is the LLC. Your person is the trust. Your person is the clerk. Your person he's the one wearing all the hats, right? He's the one wearing all the hats, and you are the one in control of that person, wearing all those different hats, okay? Now watch this. Now, once you register your name, the several county clerks of the state shall keep alphabetical index of persons filing certificates pursuant to 1 and 2. And for indexing and filing of such certificates shall receive a fee of $5 a copy of such certificates. And so once the name is registered, the courts have to keep an index of all the registered entities in their district. They have to know who the entity is and who the owner is. So if your entity is registered in your district state and they still trying to send you tickets in your legal name without recognizing that the name is already registered with the state and where it's located at and who the officer is for the name, that's considered as fraud. When they send a ticket, they got to send a ticket in the correct name. They can't use the legal name Isaiah Bay if the name is the People's Remedy. Now, if you're saying that the People's Remedy is responsible for tickets that you charge, you can't use Isaiah Bay because that's not the legal name no more. The legal name now is the People's Remedy. All right? So if you use Isaiah Bay and send it to me, that's an inducement to get me to believe that you're trying to sue me. But Isaiah Bay is not me. My name is Bay, Isaiah Jakeem. Isaiah Jakeem Bay is the People's Remedy. And that's what you got to understand, is that I'm not coming in as a business that I own or that I have control over. You're not going to deceive me with my legal name in reference to my true identity because I know who the hell I am. Okay? Check it out. So that's the fraud. When you dealing with them, that's all fraud. Once your name is registered, they can't lawfully treat that as if it's you no more. All you got to do is prove the registration and tell them that they need to correct themselves. You can't misidentify me. When I register my business, you got to recognize my business. And you, just because it was my legal name, you didn't think I knew it was a business, but I know it's a business. And if you're still using it, I still recognize that it's a business. You call it Isaiah Bay, I call it Building Better Minds, and I'm one of the officers. So you can stop playing this game because our people, y'all ain't got long before our people start waking up and realizing what the hell going on. Because y'all ain't got more rights than us, all right? Especially on our land, all right? Any person who has executed and filed a certificate required by Section 1 of this section Act wishes to withdraw his name from the business organization shall have a certificate canceled in whole or part by filing in the office of the county clerk where the certificate is filed. So how the hell can they be writing you saying when you get a ticket after your government name has been registered, how the hell they still writing you tickets trying to your personal address, trying to get you to come to court for a ticket when the law, when it's on file with them, when they already know the business and who the agents are. See what I'm saying? It's fraud. And if you got a business, LLC, put it on file with the bank. Let them know that that's a business. Let them know you're an officer. You see what I'm saying? Tell them to stop misusing your business name. Okay? The supplementary certificate, because they operating for a business too. So how they ain't you and I misrepresenting their business, so why they misrepresenting your business? Because they thought that the people would never figure this stuff out. You know, we'll never be smart enough to figure out first person, second person, third person. You thought we wouldn't figure this easy stuff out that y'all thought was hard and complicated. A supplementary certificate under oath showing that such person or persons have ceased doing business under the assumed name. All right, so this is talking about cancellation. Now let's go down here, right? For filing a certificate, cancellation. Now, where a person files the certificate, I want to get down to the main part. Let's go down. All right, so it's saying that the action in no way affect or apply any corporation, limited liability company, limited partnership, limited liability partnership, duly organized under the law, right? So it keep going, right? I want to get down to the most important part. This last paragraph. Let's read this last paragraph. If a person or persons required to register, who's required to register? Any natural man or woman who has been assigned a legal person. If you've been assigned a legal person, a legal identity, a legal name, you are required to register that name before you start using it. It's a requirement, or else it's a violation of state law, because the legal name is not the true name of a man or a woman, it's his legal name. And that name, even though it's a proper noun, identifying your full name is not a common noun or a common way a man would identify himself. It's a proper noun, but it is not common to men and women. So you can't use that name to identify yourself as if that's you. All right. So if a person or person requires to register hereunder, do not do so, and such person or any of them are unknown. Unknown. So if you go to court and your name ain't registered, you are unknown. Civil actions may be brought against such person or persons. Why you think they taking you to court right now for tickets and stuff because they're trying to say they're dealing with an unknown owner of a person. They're dealing with a person that they'll have no owner. All right, so that means that you're using a name without being properly recognized. That means that you're operating in your state under a legal name, assuming that that's you, not knowing that you have the rest of that name because it's not your true name. So when you get tickets and stuff, they bring you in and they come against you. Why? Because they don't know that there's an agency there. So they don't treat you in a different capacity and charge the business. Instead, they charge you as an unidentified owner required to make an appearance by Rule 19. Rule 19 requires that all parties of interest in any proceeding make an appearance. You can't appear if you think you're the thing they charging. How you gonna appear if you the thing? Huh? Come on, man. The DBA, registering your name, creating a business. What do you think that's for? Once the business is created, the name is a business, and you got all the proof to show that Isaiah Bay is a business. And I'm an officer. See, you gotta stop playing their game. You're playing their game by filing a suit against the business. See that? If a person required to register hereunder do not do so, and such person or any of them are unknown, right? So say for instance, Isaiah Jakeem Bay is my business and I don't know that Isaiah Jakeem Bay is a legal business that I'm using. I assume that it's just me, myself. And I start using that name without telling them who I am, right? Thinking that the taxpayer is really who I am. Civil actions can be brought against me, right? Why? Because by filing a suit against the business under its assumed name. So what that means is if the prosecutor wanted to get at me, all you got to do is file a complaint against my business name, which is my government name. Why? Because I'm using the business and they don't know who I am. So that's a violation right then and there. So since the prosecutor say, well, this person is in violation, it's a charge on this person, but on file, we don't have a registered owner to identify who's the owner of this person. So they automatically just charge you. They automatically charge you because you're out of compliance with state laws. And the people say, don't read the codes. Well, if you don't read the codes, then how the hell you would know what you're supposed to be doing? How would you know what they rules or regulations require if you don't read the damn codes? If all you read is the Constitution. That's crazy. A lot of y'all done lost y'all damn minds, man. Y'all don't know what the hell y'all doing. A judgment rendered pursuant to this section shall be personal judgment against all name owners. So when you don't own your business, when you haven't registered your business name and you keep assuming that you're a taxpayer and a taxpayer is a business that pays taxes and you keep saying that that's you and you're the user of it, okay, then they bring a personal judgment against you, right? All name owners, right? Because you own this business and you keep acting like it's you, right? And shall, in addition, be immediately enforceable against the property of the business and constitute a lien upon real estate held in the name of the business at any time prior to satisfaction of the judgment, if any, if the identity of the previously unknown owner is discovered. See? Come on, man. Such person shall be named as a party defended by motion to the court in which such case is pending. So now you know what to do. If you in court right now, and they've been charging you for the business that you are authorized to use, then you got to make a claim, right? You got to make a claim, right? Supported by affidavit showing that the notice of such motion has been given in the manner required by service of process upon individual defended by civil practice law, as heretofore or hereafter amended within 10 days after service of such notice, the previously unknown owner may appear and defend as in other civil cases. However, such defense shall not affect any judgment against any other person previously entered in the suit. So it's basically saying that even though they've been treating you as a corporation, at any given time, you can make a personal appearance into the case. Separate from, see, if you're not the defendant, then you should be appearing. defendant already in the case. See, you ain't got to appear. The defendant already got his ass locked in. He already charged. You only get charges if you come in and ask him. You see what I'm saying? See, because another party to the case will make an appearance on behalf of the record, not come in as the record, but make an appearance. Meaning, just like an attorney has to enter an appearance into the case, saying that he's making an entry on behalf of a defendant. Well, I believe you got to do the goddamn same thing. Yeah. If you're not the defendant, then make an appearance on the defendant's behalf. Now stop playing now. Because if you don't, they're going to charge your ass as the defendant, as the business that you're using, if any, right? So, therefore, entered such suit shall be amended to include such person, and shall at such time become a personal judgment against such person as if he had been individually named in the original complaint. See? Now, so they add you in, right? If you don't show up, so 10 days after you been notified by the court of a new hearing and stuff, and there's no appearance of your entry, then they automatically put you in the case, right? Let's pull this up. Can I prove it? Yeah, damn right I can prove it. I'm Brother Isaiah. Check this out. I can prove everything I say. What? Because I don't have faith and belief. I have knowledge. That's the difference. I'm not believing in having faith. I only have faith and belief in things that I can't comprehend. All right? If I can comprehend it, it ain't no faith and belief to it. Check it out. And that's what you need. You stop having all this damn faith and belief and start having knowledge. That's the reason why you in a disarray right now, because you believe too much. You have faith too much that something's gonna change your life instead of you doing it. Okay? Check it out. Rule 19 for all court cases, right? Required party. See, it's a requirement. As a man or a woman, you're required to represent your property. A person who is subject to service of process, don't they serve you? Yeah. And whose joiner would not deprive the court. So they serving you for your account. You think that they serving you as the defendant, but they're not serving you. They're serving you as a representative of the defendant. Your mind is incorrect. You don't understand commerce, okay? You still think you're a taxpayer. You still don't understand your legal obligation. You still don't know you're a fiduciary. That's a problem, all right? So when a person is subject to service of process and whose joiner will not deprive the court of subject matter jurisdiction must be joined as a party, right? If in that person's absence, the court cannot accord complete relief amongst the existing parties, meaning that they can't give relief because you're the only party that can relieve that entity of its obligation. You're the only one that can sign for that name, use that name, transfer any property in that name. You just keep thinking you a name. You're not no damn name. You are the owner and control of that name. Okay? That a person's claim, that person claims an interest. So what is it telling you? It's telling you what to do. It's telling you that a person claims an interest relating to the subject of the action. And in doing so, situated that disposing of the action in the person's absence may, as a practical matter, impede the person's ability to protect the interest. So all you got to do is make your claim. All you got to do is claim that you are a party of interest. That the defendant is a registered business, a registered trust, a registered estate, whichever route you want to take, and that you are a member or a party or an officer or an agent or somebody with similar functions. You ain't no damn entity. As a practical matter, that if you don't show up, nobody can really get what they're entitled to. Why you think they trying to charge you and lock you up? Because they saying that you are in breach of your obligation. You have an obligation. You impairing your obligation. You coming in like you a defendant instead of coming in as the authority to settle that defendant's obligation. You steady allowing them to say that the name on paper is you. When you come in, they like Mr. Lewis, Mr. Bay. They're not calling the man in front of them. They're calling the record of the one that's obligated. If that's you, then you can assume the role. But if it's not you, you need to speak up. If you're an agent or officer or somebody of a particular class, you need to say that. And you need to have substantial proof of your registered status. Because as a legal person, you can be legally a corporation. As a legal person, you can be legally a trust, meaning it cannot just be an individual, meaning an individual can be a trust and a trustee. An individual can be a corporation and a president. Do you get it? A taxpayer is a natural person and an entity. That's what the law says. It says that a natural person a taxpayer is a natural person in an entity. So if you are a natural person in an entity, all you got to do is register yourself, give yourself an official umbrella to cover yourself, create yourself into an organization because you are the business. Okay? Understand that. And then you get to control everything. Now let's keep going. I want to show you something real quick. Check this out. So you got to claim an interest, right? Got to claim an interest. All right, so because if you don't claim an interest, you enter into other parties' relief. Leave of an existing party subject to substantial risk of incurring double, multiple, or otherwise inconsistent obligations because of interest. So if you don't show up, then the prosecutor can't really be afforded relief or any other party seeking relief because another party who holds the interest in that account is not making an appearance, so they're charging you for that. Because the law requires that you make a joiner, right? If the person has not been joined as required, the court must order that the person be made a party. So the reason why they treat you like a taxpayer when you come into court, because when you don't join in within 10 days of being served or the ticket being written or anything, and you don't make an appearance for that record, then they automatically charge you as the record. A person who refuses to join as a plaintiff. So if there's a defendant, there would have to be a plaintiff. You can't have a debtor without a creditor. You can't have, everything has polar opposites. You think the law is making a mistake in what it's saying right here? You think this is a mistake that is saying that somebody's supposed to make a joiner, and if that person refuses to join as a plaintiff, what is it telling you? That you are a plaintiff for the defendant. It's only logically making sense because somebody got to act for that person. See? And then it says to join as a plaintiff may be made either a defendant or in proper cases an involuntary plaintiff. So this is what's going on in the background. You know what? So they know who you are. They know that you are the representative and all of that, but you don't know who you are. And you don't know how the court rules work. So you're not able to fully do things that's required, okay? But I'm trying to show you everything is based off the way you register yourself. Are you an individual entity or are you an established entity where you have managing powers? Which one is it? Because that name can be an individual, a trust, a corporation. Which operation are you under? Make your mind up. Venue. If a party objects to venue and the joinder would make venue improper, the court must dismiss that party. Damn. Am I tripping? So So now, why would we challenge the venue of the court? Because a police officer, which is a state officer, doesn't have the authority to file a claim against the state in the state where the claim is being made. You can't be a state officer and file your claim with your own office. You can't do that. That's a violation of law. That's and they've been doing it, but the only reason why they've been getting it off and been so successful is because they show it to us in movies. They show it to us on television. They induced us with a whole system of fraud to accept it as norm without knowing that it's unrighteous and it's unjust. So, and then you got all these companies seeing it. The Congress, they got commercials, they advertising fraudulent and fictitious stuff, but the law says that nobody can impair the obligations of a contract. They have the rights to contract. So that's why nobody never say nothing, but it's all bullcrap. Okay? When joinder is not feasible, if a person who is required to be joined, if feasible, cannot be joined, the court must determine whether in equity and good conscience, the action should proceed amongst the existing parties, meaning them and the debtor, or the account principal, or should it be dismissed. The factors for the court to consider include, right, the extent to which the judgment rendered in the person's absence might prejudice the person or the existing parties. 2, the extent to which any prejudice could be lessened or avoided by protective provisions in judgment, shaping the relief or other measures, whether a judgment rendered in the person's absence would be adequate. And see, so what am I showing you? That they're not even supposed to be even holding court without your presence. They're not supposed to be moving forward without you being involved. None of that. So what the judge is doing, he's construing and he's making a personal determination based off the action at hand that he has consent to act over you and to issue judgments on your behalf, because according to the record, you have not appeared. You have not made an appearance correctly into the case to be recognized as a party having an interest in the subject matter. The law requires your appearance. So that means that when you make an attempt to appear, they can't deny it. To claim an interest, to protect your interest in the case, you shouldn't. Why? Because everybody in that courtroom has an interest in what's going on, and you should too. That's law. Yeah, man. So, like I said, you gotta really take out some time and study to show yourself approved. Because I can tell you right now that the less you know, the more they will take advantage of the situation at hand. So y'all go back and read this, man. Take your time. Read through Rule 19, because Rule 19 deals with a party making joinder. Now, if you don't understand, let me look and I'm gonna show you, right? Pull up. I'm gonna pull up chat. All right. Now, if you don't know about chat, GTP, you need to learn about it. Now, do you accept everything it says? No. ChatGPT is an artificial intelligence. You are actual intelligence, which means that you have to be more intelligent than chat. Okay? Remember, it's artificial. You're not artificial. So you're just using this as a means of public records because it has access to all public records. So I'm gonna ask you the question. Okay. Now I just asked it question, right? Now we're gonna see what chat to say. I said when a party is required to join in a matter with the court, how should that person claim his entry in accordance to Rule 19 in the state of Illinois? Here's the clearest way to understand it. Illinois does not have Rule 19 identical to Federal Rule 19. Instead, it handles joinder necessary parties through Code of Federal Regulations, and it gives you the code. Now, this is important. Why? Because I'm looking up the federal rule, but you got to remember each state is its own entity. So the state might have its own internal policies. So that's why I say you gotta see, when you using chat, see how chat just dropped that jewel on me. It just dropped on me like they don't have Rule 19. They got this. That's why you want to use this, because it'll help you understand. Like, you might not know everything, but this might, when you read this, you're gonna say, oh, I get it. Oh, I understand now. Now you can actually come with a different route. You probably find things from chat that you didn't even know, right? So then it says, but your question about how a person is required to join, claim his entry, in other words, how that person properly enters into the case once the court requires their participation. So when the court sends you a traffic ticket, summons, they're requesting your participation. That's exactly what they're doing. How a party enters into the case. If the court determines that a party must be joined because complete relief cannot be granted without them and their interest will be affected, the court will order that person to be added as a party. This is supported by Illinois case law, which states that when a necessary party is absent, the court must direct that the party be made a party. So they automatically make you a party. That's why you be going in there and you be fighting. They steady be trying to make you the defendant, and you wonder, like, what the hell? I'm claiming my rights. I'm doing this because you didn't join in. You didn't make a request to be joined in. So they don't know. It's just like a fiduciary that's not recognized. Understand that. If the person is added as a defendant, they do not apply to enter. Instead, step A, they are served with process, summons, complaint. They file an appearance. They must file an appearance with the clerk of court. And they file a responsive pleading, answer, motion to dismiss. If the person wants to join voluntarily, sometimes a person who believes they are necessarily a party wants to enter into a case even before the court orders it, right? They can motion to intervene. Illinois allows interventions, right? So like, you can basically make a motion to intervene to be added into the case as a party having a particular interest or a right to be recognized in reference to the record being charged in the court. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when this rule falls in, it usually falls in like when you're being sued for a debt or a contract, or somebody is saying you owe on a mortgage note or something like that. Now, on that, that's when you can actually make a claim of interest to be added in. And then what supports your interest as a claimant having a particular interest is when you can acknowledge the debt with your signature on it as a party of interest having rights of shares in that debt. Then that's when you can either assign it to the clerk, you can do whatever, because you can assign your interest at any part of a proceedings. But that's usually when Rule 19 usually kicks in, is when, you know, you have a particular interest in what they call a chose in an action. Chose is money or property. All right. Now, let me get back to my main screen. All right. I think I got a little bit of my internet kind of cracking up a little bit. So I'm going to get ready to get up off of here in a second. But I just wanted to come on, man, because I've been trying to get on for the last couple of days and drop some science on the people and stuff. But, you know, they've been messing with a lot of my stuff. Oh, update your records under 5 USC 552A. Otherwise, you are causing me harm, Mr. Whatever company. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, but I'm about to look that one up, see what that is. Yeah. Thank you for the reference. I'll look it up. They require to have that piece. Yep. Piece about the joinder and attachment. In other words, you can't beat them. Join them. Yeah, buddy. Hey, damn right. You can't. If you can't beat them, boy, you better join in. Hey, listen. Why would I want to combat it with the interest? You know, I want an interest too. Shoot, we all want a part of the interest. Yeah, I ain't finna sit there and argue. Claim mine too. Shit, secure my right. You know, American jurisprudence, corpus juris secundum are the two main law encyclopedias worth investigating in. Most definitely. Any jurisprudence and and the best place to get these books that they're talking about, go to your law library at your court. Usually courts have a library, and in the court library, man, they have unlimited resources of information. UCC, the whole nine. You can't, man, they got books and volumes on forms, documents, how to do claims. They got everything. Everything you want is in the court's library. Forms, documents, everything. It's just that most people are not aware. You need to start going to court. Stop going to court only when you are required to be there. Start going to court every day. If you have to, go sit up in the courtroom. Go walk up in that joint. Come in with your dorm on and everything. Let them know you're there. If they say, oh, you know, no, I'm just here for observance. I'm just here for the public. And you go in there with your pad, your pen, like me, because they already know who I am. Anytime I come into court, I'm the last one every time. They never let me go first. They always wait till everybody leaves, and then they call me up. All right, because they already expect that I'm going to challenge jurisdiction, that I'm going to demand that everybody show me a bond, and that they show me an oath of office. Before you start trying to delegate an office in this courtroom today, you need to first prove that you hold that office and authority to do what you're doing, because one of the first requirements of law is status and authority. Nobody can do nothing without status and authority. Nobody would even accept a transfer or an assignment from you without you proving your status and your authority. So if you go to a courtroom, they got to do the same thing. Before you allow him to administer the court case, before you allow him to start giving and issuing orders, he must prove his status. He must prove his authority. What is his authority? He said he's a judge. Well, then we need to see your credentials. I need to see your bond, your license as a judge before you proceed. Before you move forward with any part of these proceedings, you need to first validate your authority to do what you're about to do today. If you cannot provide such proof, then you're not a judge and you don't have authority to issue orders or my consent to move forward. And then I'll just be quiet. I've already said what I had to say, okay? He might try to move forward. He might say, okay, Mr. Bagney, you blah, this and that, and we understand that you don't blah, 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 and we're going to go ahead and move forward with the case and this, and that, and this, and that. As soon as he gets done talking, I object. Again, for the record, your bond and your license and authority has been requested before you can issue an order. Without those documents, any order issued by you today is void and unenforceable, or it is not backed by oath and affirmation. Without oath and affirmation, no orders are considered as valid here today, and I do not consent to any orders until the orders are lawfully backed by oath and affirmation, showing your authority, your delegation of authority to do what you're doing on all levels, subject matter, personal, and territory. I need a deed for the state showing that the state owns the land. All right. I need a document of title over me as a man, and I need your oath of office in your bond. Not just you, but every officer in here participating in the court case must present proof of authority. Without proof of authority, everybody in here is a fictitious imposter perpetrating and committing a fraudulent act, because you're acting like you're something that you're not. And if you are who you say you are, you should be able to prove it. And see, that's the thing. We got to stop. They induced us to fraud. They made us believe that when we go in the courtroom and they got on judges and roles and we automatically see these uniforms and we start thinking that they got power to do all these different things without actual proof, without actual authority. Nobody should go in no courtroom and start letting nobody start telling you, how do you plead? Where do you do? You don't do that. You challenge everything. Before we move forward, I challenge you. First of all, are you a judge? Okay, well, I challenge your authority. I'm demanding that you prove it to me that you're a judge. I challenge the state's authority. I demand that the state proves that it has authority to hear this case and that it has territorial jurisdiction. I need a land deed. See what I'm saying? And you don't have to lead her. They're gonna act like what you're saying that don't matter. But trust me, as long as you stand on your ground and you don't consent to any part of their proceedings, they can't move forward. They can act like they're moving forward. They can even set a new court date. Trust me, I've been through this. I've done this with big criminal cases, gun charges, everything, doing the exact same thing. They're going to move forward as if they have authority to move forward. They're going to set a new court date. They're going to set up come in and pick your jury trial as if you still got to go to jury trial, even though you challenge the jurisdiction. They're going to still act like they got authority. But they don't. It's all illusion. What they're trying to do is get you to conform to the process. All you got to do is stand your ground. They're going to keep acting like it. You go, they're going to have jurors in there. You might go in there, they might have people in there for you to select the jury, but all you got to do is stand your ground. All you got to do is go in there and challenge jurisdiction. Say, I didn't plead to no guilty. I didn't agree to select the jury today. I challenged your jurisdiction. They started right back over again. Meaning you got to prove that I did. You can't just bring me in here and say, this jury trial, when did I? I don't give a damn what you did when I wasn't here. Did I? No, I didn't. See what I'm saying? And that's all you got to do is stand there, man. Listen. And then when you come in there one day, they're going to say, oh, your case is dismissed. You're going to come in there saying your name on it. Oh, yeah, they dismissed that case. Oh, it is? Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, but you've been coming in here for weeks, months. They've been steady coming in here playing games with you, acting like they got authority, they got this, and that. At the end of the day, without your consent, they cannot govern you. Remember what I said. They only have the consent of the governed. They get your consent by using contracts. They get your consent by using words saying, do you agree? You were charged. You were riding down the street. You got pulled over by Officer Davis's, and all that's contractual language. You shouldn't be even interacting with that. You shouldn't even be talking about none of that. Before we even get to that, first of all, are you a judge? Where your license at? Can you pull that out for me? Without that, sir, you can't move. I can't listen to nothing you're saying until you show me you're a judge. Without that, sir, we're not moving forward. Anything you say or do today is considered as fraudulent, or it's considered as non-enforceable unless you prove your authority to do it. And see, that's what you got to start demanding, that they pull out those documents. Pull that license out, man. How the hell you sitting up here without a license? You a license? When I go to a dealer, they got to have their license and shit and their insurance shit up so I can see it. So I can know he's actually a licensed dealer. You a judge? Where your damn license at? Where your bond at? Why are they sitting up on the wall behind you? Oh, you thought I was one of them dumb ones, didn't you? See, they think we stupid. You see what I'm saying? But you gotta remember what I'm saying. That anything that can be proven, it must be proven. Stop allowing these people to do stuff without proving their authority to do it. Because if you start challenging their authority and demanding proof of authority, you will realize that they never have it. They never have it. Just like a debt collector saying you owe a debt and he don't have proof that you owe nothing. These people commit fraud all the time. These people will sue you when the agreement says that they're supposed to be paying you, and they'll take that same agreement showing that they owe you and turn it around and say you owe them, and take you into court when the agreement on his face show that they owe you. But commerce can be construed to mean something other than what it means. It can have many different meanings. So even though the contract might be to your benefit, it could have got changed to the point to where the person holding it is claiming the benefit, even though it was originally for you. So understanding those truths, knowing how to operate is critical, man, in this day and time, man. I thank y'all for your time. I will come back a little bit later with more information, more topics, more things to build on. Y'all stay tuned, though. Stay tuned. Make sure that if this is your first time tapping in with Brother Isaiah, hit the subscribe button, the follow button. That way you don't miss anything when I go live, like this channel right here that I'm on. You have to actually catch me live, right? When I go live, you have to be able to be in tune and looking out for the brother whenever he going live. But sometimes I might go live directly on those specific platforms, and you will be notified of those times and days when I do decide to go live. But anyway, like I said, if you'd like to learn more about any of these things that I'm talking about, you can go to our website. That's buildingbetterminds.info. We pride ourselves in giving out accurate and correct information over here on this platform. One of our main purposes is to liberate the minds of our people from the ignorant state of being, and to replace foolishness with actual knowledge, truth, and wisdom that can actually help them rise above a plain state to an upright state, of being. Because we have to learn to be upright and righteous. Part of this is us living within the rightful means in which we were designed to live. We have to eat right. We have to be right. We have to be good at heart, good within our intentions. Everything about what we do has to be pure. It has to be unadulterated. We can't move with malice in our hearts, anger, fear, or any of those things. All those things that I'm naming restrict your will. Your will is your ability to act. All right? Your ability to act comes from your desire. Your desire feeds your ability to act. If you desire something, it infuses you to get up to go do it. The more you desire, the greater your ability to act. All right? So your will is your ability to act on your thoughts, what you think. So if you know certain information to be true and correct, and you're not acting on it, it's a reason why you're not acting on it. And usually if you're not acting on information that you receive, it's because it's a blockage, or it's some kind of force there blocking it, like fear, right? Doubt, things like that. So that's why you can't live in fear. You can't live in doubt. You have to learn, you have to know, so you can stand in what you know to be true and correct. All those other forces pretty much put you in an inferior mind state. In all your dealings, in all your transactions, make sure you get knowledge, wisdom, and overall, understanding. Because without all three, you just wasted your time. Because they all work hand in hand. Peace and love. Thank you for your time. I'll catch you guys a little bit later. I know it's Super Bowl today, so peace to everybody. Y'all be safe. Have a great time today. I know it's going to be a lot of Super Bowl parties and things like that, but please make sure you be safe. And I'll catch you in the next one. See you.